Be me. Wesley, 26. Average. I work a quiet office job verifying property records. It pays fine but feels like slowly dissolving into a desk chair. I own a modest house in a boring suburb. My biggest thrill is buying groceries without checking my bank balance first. Nothing interesting ever happens to me. Ever. My life is a straight line drawn in beige crayon. That changed 2 weeks ago. Because I needed caffeine. It was a Tuesday morning. Pouring rain outside. The local coffee shop was packed. Long line. One single overworked barista making everyone miserable. Everyone is staring at their phones and pretending they are not late for work. The woman in front of me reaches the counter. She orders something elaborate. Vanilla bean, flat white. Oat milk. Not too hot. The barista looks like he wants to die. I look at the woman. She is dressed simply but very well. Neutral colors. No logos. Clothes that fit like they were chosen deliberately by someone who knows things. She is not flashy. She just looks completely untouched. Like someone who has never spilled coffee on herself in a moving vehicle. She pulls out a heavy metal card. She taps it on the screen. The machine beeps an angry red sound. Declined. The barista sighs heavily. She blinks. She tries tapping it again. Declined. She freezes. She does not look embarrassed. She looks completely panicked, like the floor just opened up and swallowed her reality. I am sorry, she says quietly. That card should not do that. Do you have another form of payment? The barista asks. He is already looking past her toward me. The people behind us start shifting their weight. Someone sighs loudly. I see her hands start to shake slightly. She is staring at the screen like it just insulted her family. I step forward, put hers on mine, I say, and I will take a large black drip coffee. I tap my debit card. Approved. The girl turns to me like I just performed actual dark magic. You paid, she asks. Her voice is completely hollow. It is $8, I say. It happens. No, she says very seriously, it does not. She steps aside, but she does not leave. She follows me to the pickup counter. She stands uncomfortably close to me. I need to reimburse you, she says. Immediately. It is totally fine, I say. I grab my black coffee. It is not fine, she insists. Please give me your phone number. I look at the clock on the wall. I am going to be late for my boring job. I grab a brown napkin. I scribble my number on it with a pen from my pocket. I hand it to her. Here, I say. I walk out into the rain. I figure that is the absolute end of the interaction. It is not. That night, I am sitting on my cheap couch, eating a bowl of generic brand cereal. My phone buzzes. Hi, this is Margot, from the coffee shop this morning. I have downloaded Venmo. I am unclear how it works. I laugh out loud in my empty living room. I type back. Just pay it forward, Margot. The typing bubble appears immediately. It stays there for 3 minutes. Finally, a message comes through. I do not like unresolved debts. Also, my father froze my primary accounts today. Could we meet for lunch tomorrow? I stare at the ceiling. I should ignore this. This is the exact moment a smart person disengages. I am not a smart person. I text back. Sure, where? She names a diner halfway between town and the wealthy suburbs. The next day, I use my lunch break to meet her. I walk into the diner. It smells like old grease and bleach. I see her sitting in a corner booth. She looks wildly out of place. She is wearing a silk blouse. She has perfect posture. She is staring at the sticky laminated menu like it is a museum exhibit. I slide into the booth across from her. She looks up. She looks terrified. Hi, I say. Hello, Wesley, she says. She reaches into her leather bag. She pulls out a small velvet box. She slides it across the sticky Formica table. It hits my water glass. What is this, I ask. Reimbursement, she says. I open the box. It is a Rolex, a real heavy ticking Rolex. I slam the box shut instantly. No, I say. Absolutely not. She looks genuinely confused. Her eyebrows pull together. It is insured, she says. I do not even wear it that often. The metal is too heavy for my wrist. I do not care if it is cursed. Margot, I say. Put that away before someone mugs us in a booth at a diner. She looks down at the table. She slowly pulls the box back and puts it in her bag. I order a grilled cheese and fries. She orders nothing. She says she is not hungry. I tell the waitress to bring her fries anyway. Over the span of 30 minutes, the truth comes spilling out. Margot is not just rich. She is completely insulated. Old money insulated. Trust funds. Wealth managers. Allowances she never even had to look at. She explains her life like she is describing a movie she watched once. Yesterday, her father froze her spending. First time in her entire life. She went through a massive monthly allowance in 2 days without noticing. She bought a horse or a boat or something I do not even know. She says it so casually I almost choke on my sandwich. The coffee incident was not about $8. It was about her suddenly discovering that limits exist in the universe. She is 25, and she just hit an invisible wall for the first time. The waitress drops the check on the table. Margot stares at the green piece of paper. Her breathing gets slightly shallow. She reaches for her bag out of pure habit. Her hand stops halfway. She remembers she has no money. She looks at me. She looks like she is going to throw up. I grab the check. I throw down a $20 bill. I will get it, I say. We walk outside into the parking lot. She looks genuinely upset. She is hugging her arms around herself. I hate owing people, Wesley, she says. Her voice cracks a little bit. It is just lunch, I say. No, it is not, she says. It is a debt. I need to fix it. I look at her. She is standing next to my beat-up 10-year-old sedan. Cook me dinner, I say. We will call it even. She looks up at me. Her eyes go wide. She nods slowly. She treats this like a solemn blood oath. I will prepare a meal, she says. Friday night, I drive to the address she texted me. It is not a house. It is a gated estate. I have to buzz in at a literal iron gate. I drive up a winding driveway lined with perfectly manicured trees. I park my rusty car next to a fountain. I feel like I am trespassing. She opens the massive double front doors. She is wearing an apron over a very expensive-looking dress. She looks frantic. Come in, she says quickly. The kitchen is the size of my entire house. There is smoke everywhere. She tried to cook steak. She burned it. Badly. The smoke alarms are screaming. I run over and open the massive bay windows. I grab a kitchen towel and fan the alarm until it stops. She is standing by the marble island, looking utterly defeated. I ruined it, she says. Her voice is completely flat. What happened, I ask. I look at the blackened hockey pucks in the pan. The recipe said to use oil, she says. She points to a bottle on the counter. It is some kind of decorative, infused oil with twigs floating in it. I did not know if oil meant petroleum, she whispers. She looks at the floor. I tried to look it up, but my phone died. I stare at her. I cannot help it. I start laughing. I laugh so hard my ribs hurt. She looks up. She looks completely humiliated. She almost cries. She bites her lip and looks away. Hey, I say. I stop laughing. I am sorry. It is fine, I say. Do you have pasta? She nods slowly. We dig through an enormous pantry that looks like a grocery store aisle. We find a box of generic spaghetti. I teach her how to boil water. She watches the bubbles like it is a science experiment. She asks why we put salt in it. I tell her I actually do not know. It just feels right. She writes that down in a small notebook. I ask her what she is doing. Taking notes, she says. I tell her to put the notebook away. We make the pasta. We pour sauce from a jar. I look around the massive empty house. Where is your dining table, I ask. She points to a room that looks like a banquet hall. The table is made of some shiny dark wood. I am not eating on that, I say. I will definitely scratch it. She looks relieved. I am afraid of ruining it too, she admits. We take our bowls into the living room. We sit on the floor. The rug is incredibly soft. We eat generic spaghetti in silence for a few minutes. She finally exhales. Her shoulders drop. She admits she does not really have friends, just people who go to the same parties. People who talk about boats. I admit I have never sat on a road that probably costs more than my mortgage. She looks at me. She smiles for the first time. It is a small, weird smile. We finish eating. I help her put the bowls in the massive stainless steel sink. We stand in the kitchen. The silence gets heavy. I look at her. She looks at me. We kiss. It is awkward at first. Our noses bump. She steps back and apologizes. I pull her back gently. We kiss again. It gets intense. Then it just gets very quiet. I can hear the hum of the giant refrigerator. It feels incredibly human. I leave around midnight. I drive home in a daze. I go to sleep thinking I will probably never see her again. It was a weird rich girl fever dream. The next morning is Saturday. I am sleeping in. My doorbell rings at 8 in the morning. I ignore it. It rings again. 3 loud knocks. I roll out of bed. I pull on sweatpants and a faded college t-shirt. I open my front door. Margot is standing on my tiny concrete porch. She is wearing a heavy trench coat. She is holding a massive leather suitcase. It looks heavier than she is. Hi, she says, very calmly. What are you doing here, I ask. I rub my eyes. I thought about it, she says. Living with you makes the most sense. I blink. I look at the suitcase. I look at the street. There is no car. How did you get here, I ask. I ordered an Uber, she says. I paid the driver with a silver bracelet. I stare at her. Margot, you cannot live here, I say. Why not, she asks. She is completely serious. She is not crazy. She is just completely detached from reality. You have a small house, she says. You have a budgeted life. You have normal consequences. I need to learn these things. She says it like she is applying for an internship. I shake my head. No, I say. I am 26. I have one bathroom. My shower head leaks. I am not a rehabilitation center for billionaires. She looks at me. She does not blink. I will sleep on the couch, she says. I will learn to boil water without supervision. I rub my face with both hands. No, I say again. I turn to go back inside. She steps past me. She walks directly into my living room. She drops the massive suitcase on my cheap rug. It makes a loud thud. Dust literally rises from the carpet. She looks around. Where is the coffee maker, she asks. I just stand in the doorway. I do not know what to do. She walks into my tiny kitchen. She finds the cheap plastic drip machine on the counter. She starts pushing all the buttons at once. The machine makes a horrible grinding noise. Somehow, my smoke detector in the hallway goes off. It is deafening. I am currently hiding in my bathroom typing this. I can hear her out there. She is apologizing to the plastic smoke detector on the ceiling. I am so sorry, she is yelling over the beeping. I did not mean to offend you. I sit on the edge of my bathtub. I do not know how long this will last, but I know I have never met anyone who looked at my ordinary life like it was an education. I finally walk out of the bathroom. I grab a broom handle. I poke the smoke detector until it shuts up. The silence rings in my ears. She is standing by the stove. Her hands are clutched together. I broke the air siren, she says quietly. It is a smoke detector, I say. It just hates steam. I look at the coffee maker. She somehow poured whole beans into the water reservoir. It is completely ruined. I sigh. I grab my keys off the counter. Come on, I say. We are going to Target. She follows me to my car. She tries to open the passenger door. It is locked. She waits for me to walk around and open it for her. I hit the unlock button on my key fob. It is open, I say. She pulls the handle. She sits down carefully on the torn cloth seat. She looks at the dashboard like it is a control panel for a spaceship. We drive to the strip mall. We walk into Target. The bright red signs and fluorescent lights hit us. She stops in the entryway. She looks overwhelmed. She slowly wanders toward the home goods section. I need to replace the coffee machine, I say. We walk down the aisle. She points to an espresso machine that costs $700. We should get this one, she says. It has a milk frother. I point to a $20 Mr. Coffee machine in a cardboard box. We are getting this one, I say. She looks at the cardboard box. She looks genuinely sad for it. Is it broken? She asks. No, Margot. It is just cheap, I say. I put it in the red plastic cart. We walk past the grocery section. She stops dead in her tracks. She is staring at a massive wall of cereal boxes. There are so many colors, she whispers. She reaches out and touches a box of Fruit Loops. Do they really taste like fruit, she asks. No, I say. They taste like sugar and lies. She grabs 3 boxes. Put 2 back, I say. I only have $30 in my checking account until Friday. She freezes. She looks at the boxes in her hands. She looks at me. She slowly places 2 boxes back on the shelf. She looks deeply ashamed. I am sorry, Wesley, she says. I did not realize the budget was so strict. It is fine, I say. I just do not need 3 boxes of fake fruit rings. We go to the checkout. I pay. She watches the cashier bag the items. She tries to help by aggressively shoving the coffee maker into a plastic bag. It tears the bag completely open. The cashier stares at us. I am sorry, she says to the cashier. I lack upper body control. I grab her arm gently. Let's go, I say. We drive back to my house. We walk inside. The massive suitcase is still sitting in the middle of the living room. Okay, I say. If you are staying here for the weekend, we need ground rules. She stands at attention. She actually puts her hands behind her back. Number 1, I say. Do not touch the thermostat. It costs money to be warm. She nods solemnly. Number 2, I say. You have to clean up after yourself. No maids are coming. She nods again. Number 3, I say. You sleep in the bedroom. I will take the couch. She frowns. That seems unfair, she says. It is my house, I say. I make the rules. She accepts this logic. She grabs the handle of her massive suitcase. She tries to drag it toward the hallway. It barely moves. I sigh. I grab the other handle. We heave it down the narrow hall. We get it into my small bedroom. She opens the zipper. It bursts open. Clothes spill everywhere. Sweaters, silk dresses, 4 pairs of leather boots. Margot, I say, how long are you planning on staying? She looks at the pile of clothes. Until I am a real person, she says. I rub my temples. This is going to be a disaster. Sunday passes in a weird blur. I teach her how to use the microwave. She gets terrified when her bowl of soup starts popping. She hides behind the kitchen island. It is just a bubble, Margot, I say. She slowly peeks over the counter. She insists on doing the dishes. She uses an entire bottle of Dawn dish soap on 3 plates. My sink looks like a foam party. She is covered in suds. She is laughing. It is a real, loud, genuine laugh. She gets soap on her nose. I wipe it off with my thumb. She stops laughing. She looks at me. The kitchen is quiet again, except for the popping bubbles. She leans in. We kiss again. She tastes like expensive mint toothpaste and anxiety. Monday morning arrives. My alarm goes off at 6. I groan and roll off the couch. My back hurts. I walk into the kitchen. Margot is sitting at the small table. She is wearing one of my oversized gray hoodies. She is drinking coffee out of my mug that says World's Okayest Employee. I made coffee, she says proudly. I pour myself a cup. It is basically hot brown water. It is delicious. I lie. I have to go to work, I say. I put my tie on. What should I do today, she asks. She looks slightly panicked at the idea of being alone. Just relax, I say. Watch TV, read a book. Do not burn the house down. She nods. I will maintain the perimeter, she says seriously. I laugh and walk out the door. I drive to the title insurance office. I sit at my desk. I open my email. I stare at dual monitors, full of property records. My boss, Steven, walks by. He is holding a stained coffee mug. Need those files by noon, Wesley, he says. Sure, Steven, I say. My coworker, Miriam, leans over the cubicle wall. You look exhausted, she says. Did you sleep on a rock? Worse, I say. I slept on my own couch. I do not explain further. 2 hours pass. My phone buzzes. It is a text from Margot. Wesley, I have made a miscalculation. I sit up straight. What did you do? I reply. I attempted to walk to a grocery store to purchase real coffee beans. Okay, where are you? I am on a grassy island in the middle of a very wide road. Cars are moving fast. I panic. I pull up her location on Find My Friends. She is stuck on the concrete median of a massive 6-lane highway 2 miles from my house. I stand up so fast my rolling chair slams into the wall. Miriam looks over. Everything okay, she asks. My cousin is trapped on a highway, I say. I grab my keys. I run out to my car. I drive toward the highway. I see her. She is standing on the tiny strip of concrete between screaming cars. She is hugging her bag. She looks terrified. I pull over onto the shoulder. I put my hazard lights on. I wait for a gap in traffic. I run across 3 lanes. I grab her arm. What are you doing? I yell over the noise of a semi-truck. I wanted better coffee, she yells back. She is holding a small brown paper bag from a gas station. It has a single bruised apple in it. I bought this so the man would let me use the bathroom, she says. We wait for another gap. We run back to my car. We get in. She is shaking. I grip the steering wheel. Margot, you cannot just walk across a highway, I say. There was no crosswalk, she says defensively. I thought pedestrians had the right of way. Only if you want to be a speed bump, I say. I drive her back to my house. I have to go back to work, I say. Promise me you will stay inside. I promise, she says. She looks thoroughly defeated. She sits on the couch, holding her bruised gas station apple. I feel bad. I will bring home pizza tonight, I say. She nods slowly. I go back to work. I get yelled at by Steven for being late with the files. I do not care. I get off at 5. I pick up a cheap pepperoni pizza. I walk into my house. It smells intensely like bleach. Margot is standing in the hallway holding a mop. She is wearing bright yellow rubber gloves that are way too big for her. What happened, I ask. I tried to do laundry, she says. She points to the bathroom. The floor is completely flooded with water and bubbles. She put regular dish soap in the washing machine. I drop the pizza box on the table. I walk into the bathroom. The water is halfway up my sneakers. I did not know there were different soaps, she says from the doorway. Her voice is wobbling. She is trying not to cry. I wanted to be helpful. I sigh. It is fine, I say. grab every towel we own. We spend the next hour on our hands and knees soaking up soapy water. We wring the towels out in the bathtub. My back is screaming. She slips on the wet linoleum. She falls backward and lands hard on her butt. Water splashes everywhere. She ruins her expensive silk shirt. She sits in the puddle. She covers her face with her yellow rubber gloves. She starts crying. I am useless, she sobs. I cannot do anything right. I do not know how to live here. I crawl over to her. My knees are soaked. I pull her hands away from her face. Hey, I say, stop it. Everyone ruins a washing machine once. She sniffs. Really, she asks. No, I lie. But it is fine. We're fine. I grab a dry corner of my hoodie. I wipe a tear off her cheek. She leans her head on my shoulder. We sit in the puddle of soapy water for a long time. My legs go numb. We finally get up. We eat cold pepperoni pizza on the living room floor. She says it is the best thing she has ever eaten. The next day is Tuesday. I take the morning off work. We have to fix her logistics. She has no money. She has no valid ID besides an expired passport she found in her bag. She cannot exist purely on my $30 grocery budget. We drive to a local branch bank. We walk in. It smells like carpet cleaner and stale air conditioning. We sit in the cheap plastic waiting chairs. Margot is looking around nervously. A woman named Helene calls us over to her desk. She is heavily drawn on eyebrows and a name tag that is slightly crooked. How can I help you? Helene asks. I need to open a checking account, Margot says. Her voice is shaky. She is trying to sound authoritative. Okay, Helene says. Do you have a minimum deposit? Margot looks at me. I hand her a folded $20 bill under the desk. She takes it. I have $20, Margot says. Helene types aggressively on her keyboard. I need 2 forms of ID and proof of residence, Helene says. Margot hands over her expired passport. Helene sighs. This is expired, she says. Margot panics. She looks at me. I pull a piece of mail out of my pocket. It is my electric bill. She lives with me, I say. I hand Helene the bill. Helene looks at the bill. She looks at Margot. She looks at Margot's expensive leather boots. She looks at my faded title insurance polo shirt. Helene clearly does not believe a word of this. She types more aggressively. She needs a utility bill in her name, Helene says. She just moved in, I say. Helene glares at me over her glasses. Rules are rules, she says. Margot stands up suddenly. Her chair scrapes loudly against the floor. Ma'am, she says to Helene, I am currently unbanked. I am living on pepperoni pizza and tap water. I need a debit card so I do not starve in the suburbs. Please help me. Helene stops typing. The entire bank is quiet. An old man at the coin-counting machine turns around. Helene looks at Margot's desperate face. Helene sighs, a massive, long-suffering sigh. Fine, she says. I will put you as a joint user on his account. She prints out 12 pages of paperwork. Sign here, Helene says. Margot grabs the pen. She signs her name with a dramatic, looping signature. She pushes the paper back. Helene hands her a temporary debit card. It is flat and gray. Margot holds it like it is the Holy Grail. Thank you, Helene, she says sincerely. You have saved my life. Helene just wants us to leave. We walk out to the car. Margot is gripping the plastic card. I have currency, she whispers. She looks at me. We share a bank account, she says. That feels very serious. I swallow hard. Yeah, I say. It does. We drive back to my house. I park in the driveway. There is a car parked on the street in front of my house. It is a beige crossover, SUV. I freeze. My stomach drops. That is my mother's car, I say. Margot looks confused. Your mother, she asks. My mother, I say. She drops by sometimes. We walk up to the door. It is unlocked. I push it open. My mom is standing in the kitchen. She is holding a frozen lasagna in a glass dish. She freezes when we walk in. She looks at me. She looks at Margot. She looks at Margot's massive suitcase pushed against the hallway wall. Wesley, my mom says. Her voice is dangerously calm. Who is this? This is Margot, I say. My voice cracks. Margot steps forward. She extends her hand. Hello, Mrs. Wesley's mom, she says. I am a refugee from the upper tax brackets. I close my eyes. I want to die right here on my cheap rug. My mom stares at Margot's hand. She slowly shakes it. She puts the frozen lasagna on the counter. Are you pregnant? My mom asks immediately. Mom, I yell. Margot's eyes go wide. No, she says loudly. We just share a bank account now. My mom turns slowly to look at me. Her eyes are burning a hole through my skull. Wesley, she says. Kitchen, now. She marches into the kitchen. I follow her. Margot stands awkwardly by the front door. "What is going on?" my mom hisses. "Who is that girl? Why are her shoes worth more than your car? Why is she living here?" "It is a long story," I say. "She is just staying for a bit." My mom crosses her arms. "She is very pretty," my mom says. "Too pretty for you." "Thanks, Mom," I say. "I mean it," my mom says. She looks completely out of her depth. She looks like she got lost on the way to a yacht. "Do not screw this up, Wesley." My mom walks back out to the living room. She smiles a terrifying motherly smile at Margot. "I brought dinner," my mom says. "I hope you like lasagna, Margot." "I love lasagna," Margot lies. She definitely does not know what lasagna is. We sit at the tiny kitchen table. The table wobbles because one leg is shorter than the others. I put a folded-up piece of cardboard under it. Margot watches me do this like it is a magic trick. My mom plates the hot lasagna. We eat in excruciating silence. Margot is holding her fork very strangely. She is trying to be polite. "So Margot," my mom says, "what do you do for work?" Margot freezes. She swallows hard. "I am currently in transition," she says. "I am learning domestic survival." My mom looks at me, her eyebrows raised to her hairline. "Survival?" my mom asks. "Yes," Margot says eagerly. "Wesley is teaching me how to mop and how to buy generic Fruit Loops." My mom puts her fork down. She looks at me again. She definitely thinks I have kidnapped this girl. "Wesley is a good boy," my mom says slowly, "but he is messy. He leaves his socks on the coffee table." I blush furiously. "Mom, stop," I say. Margot looks at me. She smiles. "I will make sure he puts his socks away," she says. She says it so sincerely my mom actually softens. My mom leaves an hour later. She hugs Margot at the door. She whispers something in Margot's ear. Margot nods vigorously. My mom drives away. "What did she say to you?" I ask. Margot closes the door. "She said, 'If you break my heart, she will bury you in the backyard,'" she says. She looks terrified. "I think she meant it," she adds. "She probably did," I say. The rest of the week passes in a strange domestic blur. Margot learns how to use the toaster without flinching. She learns that you have to take the trash out on Thursdays. She gets very serious about sorting the recycling. She washes my cheap plastic Tupperware with extreme focus. I come home from work on Friday. I am exhausted. My boss, Steven, wants me to come to a happy hour at a local dive bar. I cannot get out of it. I tell Margot I have to go. She looks disappointed. "Can I come?" she asks. I hesitate. "It is a really gross bar," I say. "My coworkers are loud. I want to meet them," she says. She goes into the bedroom. She comes out wearing a black dress. It is simple, but it looks incredibly expensive. She looks beautiful. I look down at my faded jeans and gray sweater. I feel like a potato standing next to a swan. We drive to the dive bar. It is called the Rusty Anchor. It smells like spilled beer and bad decisions. We walk in. The music is too loud. My coworkers are sitting at a sticky booth in the back. Stephen, Miriam, and Daniel. I walk over. They all stop talking. They stare at Margot. She is glowing under the neon Bud Light sign. "Guys, this is Margot," I say. She waves nervously. "Hello," she says. Stephen moves his jacket so she can sit down. He is suddenly acting very polite. Miriam leans over the table. "Where did you meet Wesley?" she asks Miriam. Her eyes are narrowed in suspicion. "At a coffee shop," Margot says. "He paid for my dark magic." She meant drip coffee, but she panicked. Daniel snorts into his beer. "Dark magic?" he asks. "It is a joke," Margot says quickly. She looks at me for help. I slide a cheap draft beer over to her. "Drink this," I say. She takes a sip. Her face scrunches up in pure disgust. "This tastes like metal," she whispers to me. "It is supposed to," I whisper back. Daniel stands up. "Who wants to play pool?" he asks. Margot stands up immediately. "I will play," she says. We walk over to the battered pool table. She has no idea how to hold the cue. She is holding it like a baseball bat. Daniel walks up behind her. "Here, let me show you," he says. He puts his hands over hers to adjust her grip. He is standing very close to her. My chest suddenly feels tight. My jaw clenches. I step forward. I grab the pool cue from Daniel. "I got it, Daniel," I say sharply. Daniel backs up. He holds his hands up defensively. "Okay, man, chill," he says. Margot looks at me. She can tell I am mad. She drops her hands. I adjust her stance. I am standing behind her now. I can smell her expensive shampoo over the smell of stale beer. My hands are slightly shaky. She misses the shot completely. The cue ball flies off the table and hits a chair. We decide to leave shortly after that. We walk out to the parking lot. The air is cold. I am walking fast. My hands are shoved in my pockets. Why are you angry? She asks. She is struggling to keep up in her boots. I am not angry, I say. My voice is tight. You are acting strange, she says. You yanked the stick away from your friend. He was standing too close to you, I say. I stop walking. I turn around to face her, so she asks. She looks genuinely confused. He was just helping me. I rub my face. Margot, you do not understand how normal guys work, I say. He wasn't helping you because he cares about your pool game. She crosses her arms. You think I am stupid, she says. Her voice drops. No, I say, I think you are oblivious. You walk into a dive bar looking like a millionaire, and you expect people to just treat you normally. She steps back. She looks incredibly hurt. I am sorry my clothes offend you, she says quietly. That is not what I meant, I say. I step toward her. I am just. I sigh loudly. I am protective. Okay, I am protective of you. She looks up at me. The street lamp is flickering above us. Her anger completely melts away. She looks down at the asphalt. She kicks a small rock. You do not have to protect me from everything, Wesley, she says. I know, I say, but I want to. We stand there in the cold for a minute. We get back in the car. The drive home is quiet, but it is a good quiet. The tension is gone. We pull into my driveway. There is a black town car parked behind my mom's usual spot. My stomach completely drops. It is not an Uber. It is a massive tinted window luxury sedan. A man is standing by my front porch. He is wearing a sharp charcoal suit. He looks like he kills people with legal paperwork for a living. Margot gasps. She shrinks down in the passenger seat. Who is that? I ask. That is George, she whispers. He is my father's fixer. I turn the car off. I take a deep breath. Stay here, I say. I get out of the car. I walk up my cracked concrete driveway. The man turns to face me. He has cold gray eyes. Wesley, he says. It is not a question. Who are you? I ask. I stand at the bottom of the porch steps. My name is George, he says smoothly. I handle difficult situations for Margot's family. I am not a difficult situation, I say. My voice trembles slightly, but I stand my ground. George reaches into his suit jacket. He pulls out a folded envelope. He holds it out to me. Margot's father has decided. Her little experiment in the suburbs is over, he says. Her accounts have been unfrozen. This is for your trouble. I look at the envelope. It is thick. Take it, George says. It is enough to fix the siding on your house. I feel my face get hot. My hands ball into fists. I do not want your money, I say. I want you to get off my property. George smiles a thin, humorless smile. Do not be stupid, son, he says. She does not belong here. She is playing house. She will get bored of your tap water and your cheap car, and she will leave. Take the check. The front door of my house opens behind him. Margot is standing there. She must have run through the back gate. She is wearing my oversized gray hoodie over her black dress. She looks furious. Put that away, George, she says loudly. Her voice is suddenly commanding. It is the first time I have heard her sound like old money, Margot George says. He turns around. Your father wants you home. The car is waiting. Tell my father he can go to hell, she says. She steps forward. She stands next to me on the porch. She grabs my hand. She intertwines her fingers with mine. Her hand is shaking violently. I am not playing house, she says. Her voice wobbles. I am living. I am learning how to use a washing machine and how to buy cereal. I am happy here. George looks at our joined hands. He looks at the cheap hoodie she is wearing. His face tightens. Your father will cut you off completely, George says. Permanently this time. Margot swallows hard. She squeezes my hand. Good, she says. I have a debit card now. George stares at her for a long, silent moment. He slowly puts the envelope back in his pocket. He walks down the steps. He gets into the black town car. The engine starts with a low hum. The car drives away into the night. We stand on the porch in the freezing cold. She lets go of my hand. She wraps her arms around herself. She is shivering. I open the front door. Let's go inside, I say. We walk into the living room. The house feels incredibly quiet. She sits on the edge of the couch. She pulls the hoodie over her knees. She stares at the blank TV screen. I sit next to her. I leave a cushion of space between us. You really just told your dad to go to hell, I say. I cannot believe she actually did it. She nods slowly. He unfroze your accounts, I say. You could have gone back. You could have your Rolex and your banquets back. She turns her head to look at me. Her eyes are red. I do not want them, she says. I want to be here. I look at her. She looks completely terrified. She just threw her entire safety net away for a guy with a leaking shower head. The weight of responsibility hits me like a freight train. I cannot just casually date this girl. I am responsible for her now. We have to figure out real life together. I stand up. I walk into the kitchen. I grab 2 mugs. I pour the rest of the cold, terrible coffee from this morning. I walk back into the living room. I hand her a mug. It has a picture of a cartoon dog on it. She takes it with both hands. Okay, I say, if you are really staying. We need a better coffee maker. She looks down at the cold coffee. She looks up at me. A slow smile spreads across her face. She takes a sip of the terrible cold coffee. It is completely awful. She swallows it anyway. She rests her head against my shoulder. I can feel the warmth of her through the thick hoodie. I look around my cheap, small living room. I look at her massive leather suitcase, still sitting awkwardly by the hallway. I look at my keys tossed carelessly on the Formica counter. The house smells faintly like burnt pasta and damp towels. It is messy and chaotic and terrifying. She sets the mug on the floor next to her expensive boots. I lean my head against hers.